Now you're probably thinking from the title of this video is, what is he on about? How's gaming changed my life? If you watch my videos because of cystic fibrosis reasons or through gaming, this is where I kind of combine the two topics together. Firstly, before I talk about gaming, I'll talk about the illness that I have, which is a life-limiting illness. There is a life expectancy. It's in around about the 40s. And I have something called cystic fibrosis, which affects most of our body and organs, but predominantly the lungs and digestive system. And this is a genetic disease that you're born with, so it gets picked up later in life. Now testing is really good lately, how you can find if a child's got CF, and so you can't catch it. You are just born with the condition if your parents have both of the type of genes, which makes a CF baby. And it is a complex and an invisible illness. How we get ill quite a lot, because basically cystic fibrosis is that we don't get enough water and salt through our organs that we need, and it creates that sticky mucus in our body, in our organs, and it damages our organs, such as our lungs. So we have to do a lot of physio, and this can lead into infections, and we need lots of treatment for this. So nebulizers, medication if we get ill, IV antibiotics when I have like a needle in my chest. So yeah, it's very complex, and obviously going into the future, the drugs that are coming out now, which I'm excited for, are going to really improve our quality of life. Now, when I was born, I do remember that it might have been earlier, but my life expectancy when I was born in the 90s was around about 18. It probably was a bit earlier when I was younger, if I heard what it was. But so living with cystic fibrosis when you're a young age, you kind of don't know a lot about it, but it's a condition that you live with and you're kind of used to because you've lived it for so long. You don't know any different. The thing is that you are different because you're ill quite a lot when you're young. You spend most of your childhood in hospital. Now I live in Birmingham in the UK. I spent most of my childhood when it was not in school, most of it was in hospital. I had around about 60% attendance at school, which is really, really low, and so that other 40% was made up from hospital. Just being constantly in, being on the IV drugs just to get my lung function up as best as I can. And the two hospitals, if you live where I live, was the City Hospital. I remember Ward 10 as well, and the Children's Hospital. And I think they had like a respiratory ward for young children with CF. And this is where I get to the subject that how gaming has changed my life. And you could say saved your life in a way, mentally. You are so alone with CF. Because, as I said, you don't see that many of your friends because you're not in school, even at home because you're in hospital most of the time. It is a very lonely disease. And the most loneliest part about the disease is that when I'm in the hospital, I can't interact with other people that have the same condition as me. It's called cross-contamination. So if I've got a nasty bug in my chest, I could pass it on to someone else who's got CF. So we have to keep around about 6 feet apart, not be in the same room, and can't not go to the same events, or we can make ourselves seriously ill. And what I mean by seriously ill, so the worst case scenario, if you pick up a new bug that your body's not used to, you could have a lung transplant if you get that ill. So that's how serious the condition can get. And with lung transplants, obviously you don't know if they're going to be successful, so it is a worrying thing to think about. So going back to the subject where gaming gets involved, as I said, with my condition, you are alone. It's a very lonely disease to have, and it makes you, when you're older, I believe, I'm very, well, not socially awkward, but I don't like socialising anyway because I'm used to being on my own. It's made me that way, my illness. And gaming, playing video games, was the only escape I could get away from my illness and be in a world that I didn't feel alone. Now, I remember games when I was young. My first ever read on the Sega was Alex the Kid. That was a great adventure game, 2D game, and probably the best overall, if you can remember, being in the 90s, was this game. This was so much fun, and this is where I show my age. It's that old. What's the year on this? 1996. So yeah, playing a lot of the James Bond games, and other games that iconic games that you can remember when you're young, like Spyro, Rayman. There's just so many that I can think of when I was really young, and being involved in them games and playing them, and especially with family and friends as well, you completely forgot that you had cystic fibrosis. What I did, I felt that I was in this world, and mentally I believe that saved me, because the hardship of cystic fibrosis is a lot of treatments and kind of understanding that you are not normal. And if you don't realise, my channel's called Normal Life with a question mark. That's why I've called it that. It's linked with my condition, Normal Life with a question mark, that I don't have a normal life. So that's the reason why I've got the name for this channel. Now, I believe if I didn't play video games and have a great hobby like this, I believe I might have had a mental illness when I was, well, now being older, because it can come quite depressing knowing about your life expectancy. Being a male, there's fertility problems. You can't have children unless you go through IVF. Being lonely, as I mentioned, does take on you a toll on you mentally. But as I said, these video games, being like a cowboy in an open world, they take you places that you just remember. It made me feel that I was invincible, that I could do these things in my head when I was young, and it basically saved me from CF, because, yeah, as I mentioned, I didn't think I had that condition at that time, because all I was thinking about was gaming. I remember when I was in the hospital and I was the coolest kid, because the hospital just didn't have CF children in there. It had other children who was ill, but I remember I was the coolest kid because I had Mortal Kombat 3, and the hospitals, they had consoles in there. They had the Nintendo, they had, I think, a PlayStation 1, and yeah, I was completely hooked. And I learned how to play chess in hospital, so I learned how to do different types of games as well. I think that's why I do appreciate the hospitals, what they do in the wards, especially for children, that they try and make you feel that you're not stuck in hospital, that you can still enjoy life. So guys, thank you for watching this video, and I hope you understand me a bit more. If I don't make videos, it might be because there's something going on in my life because of my illness, so that is a example why. So this is a video just to open up, and to be fair, my channel is to open up about my condition. How I started my channel was talking just about CF, but I talked about how I want to do gaming as well, and eventually I can do that now. My channel's mainly about gaming, and yeah, so just linking the two, and how gaming has saved me. It has saved me mentally, as I believe I could have been a different person if I didn't have all these great things that I could do during video games. So thank you for watching, guys. I hope you liked it. If you want to see any videos I'm talking about CF or just gaming in general, if you want to subscribe, you'll get a notification when I upload next. And yeah, thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you all in my next one.